Welcome back, everybody. My name is AllFunnyGames. I stream every day on Twitch TV, and I also make fun videos here on YouTube. Normally, I'm making a lot of these new, quick little guides and stuff, but a lot of the times we talk about what's to come on Don't Starve Together. Previously, I made a video a while back there where I said, what do you want to see happen in Don't Starve Together? Or what are you expecting to kind of, get out of what Clay is turning Don't Starve Together into? So for a while now, we've seen periodic updates where we've gotten things like the year of the Bunnyman, the year of the Carrot, the year of the Beefalo, all that stuff. This is the most recent update where, of course, we have the year of the Bunnyman, which is almost like a stepping stone into the next thing. Here's the thing. This is going to be a pretty large update, and Clay's kind of essentially given us a bunch of directions in the fact that it's going to be a huge change. We've read a ton of notes before where Joe from Clay has indicated, get ready because 2023 is going to be a crazy year. I can't say anything about it yet, but it's going to be pretty awesome. The drop for the actual skin that's available on Twitch right now will end in just a few days. My guess is that after the 6th, I think that's when it ends officially, is when we're going to know a lot of information. Because I think that's when we're probably either going to get a beta or we're just going to get a ton of information pushed out. So normally the way it works is a big update gets ready to come out and they push a huge beta update and they say, go in the beta and experiment. The thing is, though, in character refreshes, normally that's not the case. Normally with a character refresh, they'll say, here you go, have a great day, because it's a big surprise to everybody. This, I don't think, will be in the beta. I don't think we're going to get a beta for what we're about to experience. I think it's going to be looked at and made sure that everything looks good. And I think it's going to be a pretty large story arc. I don't know. What do you think that you want to see come to Don't Starve Together? And what are you hoping for? Is it going to be more bosses? Are you looking for, better way of farming? Are you looking for more longevity? Are you looking for more ways to make your bases look beautiful? Like, what is your take on what you're looking for? I want to see that in the comments. But I'm going to tell you what I want. And I've mentioned this quite a few times. I love Don't Starve Together. I really do. It's a great game, and I played over almost 6,000 hours in the game, not counting the time that I've obviously been disconnected from Steam at the time in order to play the game. So overall, I played quite a lot of hours. I'm not amazing at the game or like pro or anything like that, but I can definitely tell you that I think I have a little bit of say with what I would love to see happen in the game to bring back a lot of players that might have stepped away from Don't Starve Together. A lot of the time I find with DST is that people get into the game and then eventually they step away from it and say, you know what, I've done everything in the game and I know everything and it's just not, there's no real reason for me to get back into it because they feel like every time they get back into it, they're doing the same thing. They're collecting twigs, they're collecting grass, they're making a small base, they're getting food, they're fighting the same bosses, and so on and so on. So how do you change that up? How do you essentially Russian roulette the situation and make the game crazier and more all over the map? So this is where I think we might start seeing some sort of, I hope, and I've mentioned it before, I would love to see some sort of dungeons or some sort of random generated map or something that's going to entice you to go into it, but it's going to be risky and at the same time will change every time you join in. The one thing about Don't Starve Together is, yes, a world will regenerate and make things look different, and things will change and all that stuff every time you regenerate your world. But a lot of people are not regenerating their world every time they're joining in. A lot of people are playing the same world, and then they're just going about their day and having a fun time. Now, sometimes, if you're new to the game, it could be very unforgiving too. So we got to remember, the game still has to adhere to new players that are playing the game, which Clay is actually working on right now. They're making the game more beginner-friendly by giving it tutorials, and not tutorials, but giving it a step in the right direction, allowing for relaxed mode, making it more easy to kind of understand, a lot of tips and tricks that happen when you're on the load screens and things like that. We have to remember that. That has to be a thing because a lot of people have complained before that they've gotten the game, it's too hard to play, and they really can't play it. And even now, it happens all the time. So as a streamer, I see a lot of people come in. This game is too hard. How do you play it? Do you have any guides for making it easier? And of course, I have my beginner guides that I always tell them about. Second, people always play the game and they either are going to continue to play the game or they're going to stop for a specific reason. And what is the main reason why this happens? And that's what I was saying before is the biggest one that I see is, unfortunately, the game no longer does it for me. I don't find it as enjoyable as I did when I first played the game. So how do they bring those people back in? My idea before was basically, like I said, make a dungeon, make something randomized that will never be the same. Continuously challenging yourself, making it harder and harder, but giving you a really good reward for testing out the waters of actually getting further into the dungeons. Other things could be adding a DLC to Don't Starve Together where it adds a whole new biome. Now, I'm not talking about, not biome, a whole new shard. Now, that's complicated. Anytime they add more stuff to the game, it could very well cause more lag. Now, we've seen what happens with things like the moon biome and things like that. It is good. The moon is a great attachment and add-on to the game, and I do love all that stuff. But I find that some of those little tiny tweaks or like add-ons like the Monkey Island and all that stuff, they don't really add too much longevity for somebody to play. So if I have a map established and I'm like, okay, I'm going to jump in and see this new added in stuff, it might take me, maybe a few sessions before I completely see all the new update and go, okay, that's cool. So I hope that whatever they add has a lot of longevity into it. I would want to see something that if it's a new shard, meaning now we're no longer in the caves and the overworld, we're now in like the clouds or something like that, and it's a whole new like livable area. That could be really cool. Maybe they'll make it so there's like a shipwrecked generation, so you can click on how to make your world generate into like a shipwreck world where all there is islands everywhere. Maybe they'll have it where there's like a Hamlet orientation to the game where there's like little things. I don't know how they're gonna change the game or what it's going to be. I'm excited because they keep saying things like you're never going to be expecting this, and I don't want to keep on bringing up Shipwrecked and Hamlet because those are games that already belong to single player, and I think if they just added them to Don't Starve Together, some people might get excited about it and be like, that's amazing, now I can play Hamlet or Shipwrecked multiplayer. But it's not really adding something new into the game. So if they just added it as like a bonus, sure. Just like if they ever added the Forge or the Gorge built into DST, that would be really cool too, because that adds more ways to just do like tons of fun stuff. And like, why shouldn't it be added there? Like, why not, right? Like, just let it be added to the game inside of a small biome or something. That way we can do little Forge mini runs or Gorge mini runs just built into DST, like inside the actual map. And those are things that I think that could potentially work. Now, something that I don't know or I don't believe would happen is essentially them saying, and I keep saying essentially, I don't know why I say essentially so often, where they say, okay, Don't Starve Together, you've been amazing, blah, blah, blah. We are now releasing Don't Starve Together 2 or something. Because we all know that as of right now, a lot of people lag with the caves and the overworld, where they're pretty much trying to load both worlds at the same time, and if they have both enabled, they lag, and it just causes trouble. Now, they can't always build their games around, or they can't always like build a game that's trying to obviously meet the requirements of every computer out there. But the idea is that the more PCs that can support it, or consoles and all that other stuff that can support it, the better, because obviously the more people are playing it or incompatible and all that other stuff, right? So it's not like a game like Elden Ring where when it gets released, I have to have an amazing PC to play this game. Don't Starve Together, you can have a mediocre PC or you can have a decent like console, and as long as it supports it, you're good to go. Now, the game is already fully released on a lot of platforms, and it's released on PC since 2016. So that's the case that in this situation, I think that it's probably worth saying that, it's been around for a while. That doesn't necessarily mean that we should see a new game like Don't Starve Together 2, but it is possible. It is possible that they say, maybe we'll make Don't Starve Together 2. I don't really think we'll see that, as they've promised a roadmap and all these other things, and they've done all the work of actually making character refreshes and all that stuff, but it is not off the map, because it's possible that we would see an end to Don't Starve Together and Don't Starve Together single player, and then they would walk us over and say, welcome to Don't Starve Together 2, and we would be a whole new game. You still have the option of playing regular Don't Starve Together, or you can play the one that has newer graphics and, newer, I don't know, mechanics or whatever. I don't think that would happen because that would kind of separate the community a lot, but it's entirely possible too. So either which way that they decide to do this, I'm really excited and I think it could work. But you have to tell me what you think, because it's all about, I think, the community, right? So let me know what you think about it down in the comments. I, for one, would be happy with just dungeons. That has been my idea for years. I think it would be really cool. Just an overall way of making the game more challenging and kind of giving you more longevity to keep playing it over and over and over again without it feeling stale where, okay, do we go back and fight the Bearger again, or do we fight the Deerclops again? Because there's really only so many times you can do that. Although I used to mega base a lot, and I don't do that anymore, so maybe I'm kind of different than the average person in the community, where I know a lot of people enjoy mega basing. I don't know. So yeah, what do you think? What are you excited for? What is your idea? What has been something that you believe is going to come to Don't Starve Together? Because it's all about that. I want to know, and I want to get like some interesting conversations back and forth. We made a video on this before in the past, and it turned out really well, and I love all the cool ideas. So here we go. Let's get talking and get excited, because sooner or later we're going to find out, and one of us is bound to be right. So let's just find out who is going to be right. Maybe it's me. I don't know. But anyways, thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.